Hi guys. Okay, so this is the last operation for the practical for the state board. And it's the artificial fingernail, the acrylic nail, which if you are going to be a cosmetologist, for the most part, we tend to be hairdressers. And if we were going to be an esthetician or a manicurist, we could have gone to a separate schooling for that, which is less hours. But since we do everything, hair, skin, and nails, this is part of the state board. And so it's a 20-minute procedure and you should be fine. But like I said, the haircut and the artificial nail tend to be you lose the most points for if you're not doing it correctly. So let me just go over what the proctor is going to say. You're going to sculpt one fingernail and you have your hand right here. What they will have is they'll have a visual of a hand in the room you're taking your board, and they will have a Velcro arrow to the finger that you're going to be doing the acrylic nail on. Usually it's the index finger, the pointer finger, but it could be any finger, so don't just do whatever finger you want. You have to make sure to do the finger that they tell you to do. You also want to make sure that all of your products are sealed, your monomer and polymer that you're using. When you rent through the kit company, you'll have all these supplies in there already, so you don't have to worry. You got to follow all safety measurements, safety procedure, sanitation, disinfection. You're going to set up everything in English. The primer and the primer, the monomer, and the polymer all have to be in sealed containers that came from a company. They can't just be poured into a bottle and brought to state board. You do have DAP dishes that I will be putting the monomer and polymer in, and then afterwards remember to put the liquid in with the polymer, and then you're going to stir it up with your brush to make sure for throwing it away it needs to be mixed together so that the chemical is not toxic. Okay, so then also you're going to, everything's clean and clear, all the supplies are in English, and the things that you're supposed to do are clean and cleanse and dehydrate the nail plate, apply the nail form, remove shine. Let's start in order that's correct. First remove the shine, then cleanse and dehydrate, which is the nail dehydrator here. Then you apply the nail form to the nail. Then you use your primer, and then you use your monomer and polymer and create the nail. So that's how it works. All right, so I'm going to pretend like the proctor is going to say you may now begin the sculptured nail, and you'll be reminded when you have 10 minutes remaining. You may begin. After sanitizing my hands, you want to sanitize this hand. I'm going to take an extra towel out of my universal supplies. Make sure to close my lid. You can't see it right now, but it's closed. I want to have this in my lap just in case I might need it. I might want to wipe off the finger where it has too much sanitizer on it. Have that in my lap. I'm going to go ahead and sanitize one more time just because I was over there in my universal supplies. So first what we want to do is remove the shine from the nail. And you want to show that you're taking care and not really filing the client's skin. Now I'm going to use the dehydrator, which at home that can just be the nail polish remover acetone. Don't touch anything to there. Close the lid. Dehydrate, it's just nail polish remover, drying it out. Throw that in the garbage. Sanitize. And now we're going to put the form on. And the form, I know a lot of times they're hard to get on when you're using your little hook fingers, but I like to kind of wobble them around a little bit just to make sure they're softened up a little bit. And you want to make sure that you put the tape a little bit on the sides of the first knuckle and not on the top, because you don't want them to be touching together, because then it won't connect well underneath at the hyponychium, underneath the nail. Take your time on the nail form, because if it moves around during the process of the acrylic nail, you will have a product that goes underneath at the hyponychium area, and you don't want that. And then just pinch together the form so that it is nice and tight, and then you can begin. Before I do the primer, I am going to put my monomer and polymer in their correct dappen dishes. This is the odorless brand, and therefore there is an oil in there that makes everything a little bit slower to cure, and it gives you a little more wiggle room when you're applying your product. But it does take a little longer to dry, and it's sticky, and it has an inhibition layer, so you really do have to file for a bit. Okay, so now before I start doing my acrylic nail, I'm going to do my primer. When you have this in your kit, I believe it is just kind of clear nail polish, I'm not sure. But everything's simulated because you're just going through the motions. Whenever you're applying primer, you take care to stay right around the edges of the eponychium and the perinychium side walls. You don't need to put any of this product, it could burn. I have a little piece of paper right here under my setup so that I can wipe if I need to. And now I'm going to begin. You want to make your little beads more of a dry mix than a wet mix. Find the balance when you get your bead. Might take a little bit, but you can do this. And then just pat. I like to go right to the stress area first, which is right at the free edge. And you don't even need to make this sculptured nail long. They just want to see that you can make a sculptured nail that's got a nice form, that it's balanced, that it has an arch right at the apex of the nail. It's really pliable too. You can really push, kind of push the sides, get it back up, because if it is too liquidy, it'll kind of go down the side, and you'll just have to keep pushing it back up. And then once you've got your free edge formed and the stress area done, then you can work your way down to the apex and to the base of the nail near the eponychium. And you want to make sure that you're staying within the nail plate. You're not going out the sides of it, because that would not be a good nail. Also, you want to make sure to take care not to use too much product, because a little can go a long way. And you can actually pat this down, this midsection, and you can actually get it almost to the front of the nail by the eponychium. Because if you have too much product, then unfortunately you have a little more filing to do afterwards, which is fine if you need to. And holding your hand sideways just a little bit so you can see the way you're building the arch of the sculptured nail. And then keep wiping away. And now you're really going to wind up using a small bead, just a little bit of product when you're going to the base, because we're just going to try and get right up there close to the skin, but not on it. You actually can use your own fingernails to manipulate a little bit. We used to have to do a manicure for state-board, but now you don't even have to do the manicure. Just one acrylic nail. And no painting it either. It's just forming this. I see a little bump right in there. I'll probably have to file that. The edge looks, you want to make sure the free edge is nice and smooth and it doesn't like fall down like the product was too wet. So I'm just going to build up the side just a tiny bit. And if you think about it, if you went and got your nails done at a salon, I mean, you can get a full set in like 30 to 40 minutes. So think about doing one acrylic nail for 20 minutes. You can do this. I know you can. If I can, you can. This is not my favorite thing to do. I love doing hair. I love getting facials and getting my nails done, but it's not my favorite thing to do. And when I went to state board, this is the one thing that I was petrified about. And when I became a cosmetology instructor, this was the one thing I was petrified about teaching, because it's just, you know, everybody's got their forte. Everybody's got their thing that's really great, that they're good at. And I just love doing hair color and hair cutting, and the nails were just not my thing. So now that I've got the product applied, I have to wait till it's gonna dry now, because it's gonna take just a couple minutes to dry, because it is the odorless. And with the odorless, there is oil in it that makes it take a little longer. So you're patient, you're working away. I think I'm gonna set this down here and I'm gonna mix my products up. Actually, no, I think I won't mix my products up, because what if something happened and the nail fell off? You would actually have to go back and redo it. You do have multiple, usually a couple of these in here. So the next thing you're doing is you're waiting for this to be dry, and in order to do that, you're gonna hear a clicking sound when you use your brush. So I don't think it's ready yet, so let's just see. Actually, I can hear clicking sound. Then want to make sure you do that. So I am going to take my form off now. And then it's time to file. And since it is the odorless, it does have that inhibition layer, so you have to get that off. And it rolls off. It's kind of bizarre looking. You want to make sure your sides are flush with the natural nail. So I like to kind of go in there, just make sure they're even on both sides. And then the same with the front. Now when you're doing a regular manicure, you always go side to center to show that you're taking care of the nail, but when it's an acrylic nail, I don't think it's that much difference. You still want to make sure you're at a 45, because that makes the nail not chip, and it's in better, it just is better when you go at a 45. And then you're going to go straight across the top and kind of roll off that inhibition layer that's on there that's shiny and kind of weird looking. Everybody will be working independently at this last operation. I'm sure everybody will be so glad to be almost done. And then after you do the nail and you're done with everything, you're going to throw everything into your bag and go back out to the lobby and wait for your written test. The written test is computerized, multiple choice, and you have to get a 75% passing rate. Just like with your practical, you have to get 75% passing rate, which if you want to be a cosmetologist, you should be able to do that. You know, and they want to check that you're checking for smoothing. Kind of feeling the nail, looking at the arch. I have a little bump, can't really see, right in the top here, right about there. Just gonna file that area I built up at the apex a tiny bit. I'm sure I'm probably in about 10 minutes right now. I'm not, 15. So we're almost there, and I talked a lot during it, so hopefully this will help you, even though it's not super close up. You're just getting the procedure right. And once I feel it's smooth without any of that inhibition layer still coming off the top. If you practice at home with regular acrylic, it's not going to do this. It's going to be much easier to file. But imagine a whole room of people doing state board. That's probably another reason why they do the odorless, because it's better for us. Almost there. And also one more thing, you don't have to get real creative on some stiletto or coffin or all these different styles of filing the nail in different shapes. Just do a basic, maybe squoval or oval, something that just kind of compares to what her nail looked like before. And then once you're done with your nail, you're going to show the proctor by turning it over. So I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, it feels smooth. Nothing bled underneath the form, which is great. I'm just gonna fold this over here. And then you're gonna turn this the opposite way, because that shows the proctor that you're done. And then you're done. And then now you're done with all of the practical operations. So keep practicing, and I know you'll do great.